Hour for the TOEIC test. Published by Goken Company Limited. This recording is copyrighted. Disc1. This set of 2 compact discs contains 200 practice questions for the listening comprehension section of the TOEIC test. In each practice, you will hear a short conversation between 2 people. In your textbook, you will read a question about each conversation. The question will be followed by 4 answers. Choose the best answer to each question. Unit 1.
Number 1.
Did you hear, Yuki? This firm has just established English as its official language. We'll have to use it to conduct all business with our foreign affiliates.
Yes, Miguel. It's due to the globalization of the Japanese economy. Many companies are now insisting on a minimum level of English proficiency for all employees.
I'd better start brushing up on my English fluency. Can you recommend a good book for me to use?
Number 2.
These are made of crystal and can shatter easily, so take extra care if you want them to arrive intact.
I'll write the word fragile in red pen on the sides of the container before sending it.
You should also wrap them securely in material like cotton that can absorb the force of any impact, and make sure they can't move at all inside of the box.
Number 3.
Pardon me, I don't know which window to go to. The lines are all so long. I don't want to waste my time waiting 10 minutes to speak to the wrong teller.
I'd be happy to assist you, sir. What type of transaction do you want to conduct?
I need to transfer some funds from my account here to one of the overseas branches.
Number 4.
I feel awful. I've got a pounding headache, and I still feel dizzy.
You were pretty amusing last night, James. But it's too bad you crushed Mr. Ito's lampshade when you fell off the table.
I feel so ashamed. All that champagne caused me to lose control of my inhibitions. Next time, I'm sticking to ice water.
Unit 2.
Number 5.
All the reviews of that new movie, Ouch, say it's superb. But I went to see it yesterday and I thought it was shallow and superficial.
But the lead actress is strikingly beautiful. I think that's the real reason it's so immensely popular.
You're probably right. It sure isn't the script that has garnered such widespread attention.
Number 6.
What's your son doing here, Val? I thought he was staying at the dormitory this semester.
He is, but he's got a term paper due this Monday, and he says it's too chaotic there for him to concentrate. He needs some peace and quiet.
It must be nice to have him back home, even if it's only for a brief while.
Number 7.
After you mow the lawn, make sure you don't neglect to trim the borders near the fence.
Should I pull out those weeds over there as well?
Yes, make sure you get them by the roots, and then turn on the sprinkler.
Number 8.
How long will it take to get to the Nicholas Conference Center from here? I don't want to miss the first event.
The time of day makes a big difference. It usually takes about 20 minutes. But traffic can be horrible during rush hour. It might take you 45 minutes.
Well, the first lecture is scheduled to begin at 1 o'clock, so traffic won't be a problem. I'll give myself an extra 10 minutes to be safe. Could you arrange a wake-up call for me at 8 a.m.? Unit 3.
Number 9.
Sir, please explain the sequence of events to me. Why did you stop without any warning?
A cat darted in front of me, and I was so startled that I just slammed on the brakes. Right after that, I was hit from the rear.
Well then, it was the man behind you who was at fault. You were both lucky he wasn't going very fast.
Number 10.
Would you make a donation to our organization? We're committed to preserving the world's rainforests, which are being steadily depleted by human agricultural development.
You're really dedicated to this cause, aren't you, Zena? Of course I'll help out.
Thanks, Kyle. If we don't act now to conserve our natural resources, we may soon find that it's too late.
Number 11.
We've been going for a long time now. Let's dismount and sit in the shade by that river for a while. I may even take a dip in the water to cool off.
Good idea. I'm thirsty, and I'm stiff and sore from sitting in this saddle for so long as well. The path has been pretty rough.
Let's tie the reins to this tree so they won't wander away while we rest. Do you have any food left in your backpack?
Number 12.
Boy, am I exhausted. It was very hectic today at the office. We're just swamped with work.
Here, sit on the couch. This is becoming a daily thing. Your workload is far too heavy.
We're all bewildered as to why the boss keeps the office understaffed. Despite the fact that everyone works as hard as we can, we're still piling up a backlog of orders.
Unit 4.
Number 13.
Where should we go for lunch? Today there's a 25% discount on all the curry dishes at Maharaja, and here's a coupon for Guido Italiano offering complimentary salads.
Well, I've got a voucher for 3 meals, including beverages, at Pancho's Mexican Cafe. What's more, it's only valid until tomorrow.
That settles it. Let's ask Sandra to come with us.
Number 14.
That's a very pretty ring, Kim. It doesn't even look artificial at first glance. Was it a good bargain?
This is an authentic diamond, Dave. Do you think I'd pay more than $1,000 for a phony piece of jewelry?
I sure hope you can track down the person you bought it from. You know what they always say, buyer beware.
Number 15.
I want to ensure that the person we hire for the secretarial position is able to do the job. The last 2 women were utterly incompetent.
My method is to screen applicants by having them actually work for a trial period of 1 week. That way, I get to see them in action before hiring them.
That's a great idea. That way we can gauge their abilities outright and not be deceived by false claims on a resume.
Number 16.
Elaine, where's today's newspaper? There's a column in it that I want to read.
It's already in the recycling bin in the basement, Mr. Evans. I just assumed that you'd already read it, so I placed it on the stack.
Please go downstairs and get it back. There's still time. The collection isn't made until 3 o'clock.
Unit 5.
Number 17.
Our daughter wants to go to medical school, but we just don't have the means to send her to a decent university at the moment.
Why doesn't she apply for a scholarship? She fits the profile for a recipient, doesn't she?
We've investigated that avenue. Even a good grant will only partially cover the cost. She'll probably have to work for a few years to save enough money to go.
Number 18.
I don't think we should use this logo in our advertisement. It's trademarked, so we might be breaking the law.
Oh, come on, Tony. It's a minor issue. You're too uptight about little things like that.
Will you still consider it a minor issue when the company sues us for $1 million?
Number 19.
Have you seen Jenny since she retired? I really miss her.
Me too. No matter how stressful things got around here, she always maintained a cheerful outlook.
Not only that, but she also had the ability to overcome any obstacles she faced. She was a real asset to this firm.
Number 20.
I think that James deserves more money, Rachel. He's been with the firm for almost 2 years, and he's done some excellent work.
Cody, I know you support him, but that's because he's your best friend. In reality, his performance has been no more than mediocre.
Well, I admit I am biased, but he's a diligent worker. He's careful, thorough, and never misses deadlines. I really believe he merits higher wages.
Unit 6.
Number 21.
Look at all these guests. I had no idea the Davenports had asked so many people to come. Let's mingle.
We ought to acknowledge our hosts first. It's difficult to believe that little Katie Davenport is now Mrs. Catherine Hunter, isn't it?
You said it. Oh, look. There they are, standing with the Hunters. Let's go and toast their mutual happiness on this special occasion.
Number 22.
Is Mr. Fallow still furious about the mistake we made on his bill? The last I heard, he was literally screaming at Beth.
He was on the verge of suing us. I don't know how she did it, but she got him calmed down.
Her ability to perform under pressure is amazing. We're lucky to have her.
Number 23.
Fumiko, can you stay late tonight? A crucial deadline is coming up, and we'll be in trouble if we can't meet it.
I'd be willing to any other night, Mr. Parr, but I've already got plans. I'm very sorry.
I don't like to beg, but is there anything that would induce you to change your mind? You'd get double pay, and you'd be performing a good deed.
Number 24.
Hey, Julie, I heard about last night's incident from Miriam. Are you okay? Did they catch the thief?
Yes, I'm okay. He just grabbed my keys, jumped in, and sped off. The police found my car an hour later, abandoned about 10 miles away. It sure was scary, though.
Wow, that's intense. You must have been very frightened.
Unit 7.
Number 25.
I confess that it's going to be leftovers for supper, Bob. I planned to make spaghetti, but I spent all day doing the laundry and vacuuming the rugs.
That's okay, Tina. You're not obliged to cook every day. I don't mind eating stew 2 nights in a row.
Actually, I ate that at noon. We're having some chili that I took out of the freezer and reheated in the microwave.
Number 26.
Mary, what led you to your present career as a reporter? Did you study journalism in college?
No, I majored in psychology as an undergraduate, but the summer before my senior year, I worked at a paper. And the first time I covered a story, I was hooked.
So it wasn't your initial plan at all.
Number 27.
I'm here to tender my resignation, Ms. Chapman. These constant clashes with my superiors have rendered it impossible for me to work here anymore.
I sympathize, Ron, but don't be hasty. You may come to regret this.
I know I'm not appreciated here, which makes me feel bitter. I know I can find a similar job at another firm. I've made my decision.
Number 28.
The NPT is a landmark treaty aimed at preventing the diffusion of nuclear weapons technology, right?
Yes, it also says that nations that already have such weapons should take steps toward eliminating them.
I heard that almost every country in the world has ratified it. It must be a very powerful document.
Unit 8.
Number 29.
I have an announcement to make, everyone. Jessie and I are engaged. She said yes last week on New Year's Eve.
Oh, Phil, that's wonderful. You have my blessing. When are you two going to tie the knot?
We'll walk down the aisle in 6 months. She won't move out of her parents' house until we exchange vows, though.
Number 30.
We've had enough talk about going into partnership with Merrill & Sons for now. I know it's a little ahead of schedule, but the meeting should be adjourned.
But not everyone has been able to add their input. I think we should keep going.
There are too many details to consider to make a logical decision any time soon. We need to digest this information before proceeding further.
Number 31.
What are you doing here, Tanya? I thought you were supposed to attend the trade show at the Coliseum today.
I was, but Tom called in sick, so I have to fill in for him at the staff meeting.
Well, as long as you're here, there's something I want to discuss with you. Could you step into my office for a moment?
Number 32.
How did you manage to outline your project so clearly at the meeting, Sarah? I know that you hadn't prepared beforehand.
It's true that I hadn't expected to speak today. I was at a bit of a loss at first, but I just improvised.
If it had been me, I would have been terrified. I'm impressed by your ability to perform under pressure.
Unit 9.
Number 33.
How did the training seminar go, Jack? Was it worthwhile?
It was a total waste of time. I know it was intended to motivate us, but I found it tedious and boring.
That seems to be the general consensus. If we let the manager know, maybe he'll find a way to improve it next year.
Number 34.
I know this may sound like a silly question, but when do we receive our dividends?
At the end of the fiscal year. That's when the corporation assesses its total wealth.
I guess that's when I'll find out if I made a wise decision or not. Being a novice at this, I just followed my broker's advice.
Number 35.
Oh no! I inadvertently clicked on delete when I meant to select save. All my data just disappeared. It won't come back onto the screen.
Try clicking on the undo icon. That may retrieve it for you.
I tried that already. Now I'm going to have to type the whole document over again.
Number 36.
It's so tranquil here, with the trees gently swaying in the wind and the soft illumination of the moon, and we're so far from civilization.
It is beautiful, isn't it? There seem to be a million stars gleaming in the sky.
Let's continue on a little further before turning around. I like the feeling of the damp grains of sand under my bare feet. Unit 10.
Number 37.
Ned, this branch is going to be audited next month. Should we have a professional accountant go over the figures beforehand?
It wouldn't hurt, Anne. Our finances are simple enough, but a professional might notice something that we've missed.
My thoughts exactly. It will be worth the extra expense to ensure that the firm avoids any legal problems later on.
Number 38.
As this aged over the years, the elements blended nicely, producing the deep red you see. Now hold the glass by the stem and swirl it around a little.
I feel so refined, like a true connoisseur. What next?
Now tilt the glass and bring it to your nose. Sniff, relishing the aroma, and then take a generous sip.
Number 39.
What a lovely sculpture! I wonder how the artist managed to make the texture so smooth.
It's a very nice piece. It's pretty. But what is it supposed to be?
That's what's so delightful about abstract art. You can interpret it however you like.
Number 40.
Joe, would you mind if I ran a few errands? Mr. Ellers asked me to go downtown to the mall for some stuff he needs.
Of course not, Naomi. It's hardly busy right now. This is an ideal time for you to be away from your desk.
Thanks. If my phone rings in the meantime, you will answer it for me, won't you?
Number 41.
What do you think of the ruling that deemed My Sun Systems is a monopoly and should be punished for unlawful business practices?
I agree with it. Now the market will be more competitive and we'll have a wider range of products to choose from.
Not me. I think their application software is so popular because it's user-friendly, not because they used illegal tactics to dominate the industry.
Number 42.
Anne, did you know that so far only 3 people have registered for the workshop next Friday?
That's odd. I didn't expect a mob, but I was pretty sure that we'd have at least 50 attendees.
It's Ms. Ryan's fault. I tried to persuade her to make attendance mandatory, but she said that would make the sessions dull and boring.
Number 43.
You're liable for this accident. I've got witnesses. What were you doing? Reading that billboard?
Calm down, it's only a dent. You don't have to make such a fuss.
This is a brand new car. You're a reckless driver. You shouldn't even be allowed on the roads.
Number 44.
First, crack these into the bowl. Now stir them until the whites and yolks are thoroughly combined.
Done. Now a pinch of salt. Should I pour them into the pan yet?
No, measure out a 1/4 cup of milk to make the mixture a little thinner and add the crumbled cheese. The oil is ready, so now you can start cooking. Unit 12.
Number 45.
I'm puzzled as to why Mr. Wu let Sherry go. He always said that she was indispensable to this firm.
And he was always bragging about her splendid work. She was his favorite employee.
I can only speculate that they had some kind of conflict, but she never mentioned anything to me. Where do you think she'll seek employment now?
Number 46.
I'd like to invite Sam over for dinner tonight. He feels depressed after his divorce. He needs some companionship.
Of course. Just swing by the organic grocery store on your way home and pick up some tomatoes. I'll need to make a little more sauce.
Oh, so we're having your delicious specialty, spicy spaghetti, huh? That ought to put a grin back on his face.
Number 47.
George, would you please define the verb enroll for me?
Yes, it means to join a military organization.
That's enlist. The purpose of these drills is to help you discriminate between similar words like these. Please try again.
Number 48.
Ma'am, are you aware that your membership at this fitness club is about to expire?
No. My swimming routine is extremely important to me both physically and mentally. I'll renew it right now. Is the cost still the same?
The fees have risen slightly since last year. Do you want to keep your private locker as well?
Unit 13.
Number 49.
Vanessa has only been with us a short while, but she's already distinguished herself as one of the best employees we've ever had.
She can adapt to virtually any situation with ease, and she's intelligent too.
With her skills, I predict she'll be an executive within 5 years.
Number 50.
I'm having trouble with the subjunctive tense. All of the different forms are confusing to me.
You should refer to it as the subjunctive mood, Naomi. Tense is related to time. The subjunctive mood is used to express desires or to describe hypothetical situations.
I wish I had your natural aptitude. You speak as well as a native. You've hardly got a trace of an accent. How do you do it, Ricardo?
Number 51.
You say she portrayed a female jockey in the movie Racetrack, and she's very attractive with long blonde hair? Let me think.
It's right on the tip of my tongue. It's going to torture me all night unless I can remember.
It eludes me at the moment, too. I think I know who you're talking about, though.
Number 52.
Come in, Mr. Williams. Take a seat and let me examine your leg. What happened?
I was on my ladder painting my house when I lost my grip and fell off. Now my ankle is swollen and it hurts.
Well, it doesn't appear to be broken. It's probably just a sprain. I'll write you a prescription to allay the pain. You should be fine in a day or two. Unit 14.
Number 53.
John, where do we keep the computer supplies? I have to replenish the toner in the printer. It's completely out.
They're in the storage closet at the end of the corridor, on the highest shelf. There's a stepping stool in there if you need it.
Thanks. I think I'll grab some paper while I'm at it. I noticed that we're running a little low.
Number 54.
I want to have this car appraised. I'd like to trade it in as partial payment for a new vehicle.
Let me see. The engine is in poor shape and it's also badly rusted. Offhand, I'd say it's worth about $500.
Wow, I didn't expect it to depreciate so much in only 4 years.
Number 55.
Your resume says that you worked for the Terrell Company for 3 years in a managerial position. Why did you leave them?
Actually, it wasn't my decision at all. I was a victim of corporate downsizing.
Well, we are looking for someone with experience in the area of management. What are some of your other qualifications?
Number 56.
Let's pair each new recruit with an associate who's got at least 5 years of experience. That will help them learn more quickly.
Do you think people have time to spare for that purpose? Everyone is working too hard as it is, Nancy.
It will take a little extra effort, but it'll be worth it. This way, at the end of the training period, we can depend on each person to do their job properly. Unit 15.
Number 57.
How about adopting the concept of casual Fridays here? It would probably raise morale if people could display their individual tastes in clothing in the office environment.
Well, it could decrease productivity. If people are busy comparing clothing styles, they may get distracted from their work.
I still like the idea. I'll elicit other people's opinions on the subject.
Number 58.
Okay, let's begin. We have a broad range of topics to go over, but what's the first item on the agenda?
We should address either Kim's proposal to implement a new filing system or Ralph's ideas regarding the Simmons account.
Let's tackle the Simmons account. The deadline is approaching, so it's got priority. Ralph, you have the floor.
Number 59.
This is Frida from headquarters. We just sent you a facsimile, and I'm calling to confirm that you did indeed receive it. It consisted of 6 sheets.
Our machine's been on the blink all day long, so we haven't been able to transmit or receive any documents.
How about if I use your email? Then you can call me and let me know when it arrives. That will be the most efficient way to deal with the situation.
Number 60.
Todd, is this the video we bought yesterday? I can't slide it into the slot of the VCR.
It's embarrassing. I left it in the trunk, and it got so hot that it caused the case to melt. It's ruined, I think.
Yeah. The shape is so distorted that it'll never be playable. It has a funny odor, too. Unit 16.
Number 61.
Ben, I have to cancel our weekly dinner date. There's a faculty gathering tonight.
Are you sure? The place has a fabulous reputation for great cuisine.
I'm tempted, but I have to refuse. As the newest person on the staff, the principal is watching me closely. It wouldn't be prudent for me to skip this one.
Number 62.
Come on, Chris. We're lagging too far behind the others. Can't you hurry up?
The trail is steep, the sun is blazing down on me, and my load is really heavy. How about asking the others to slow down a little bit?
You know we have to reach the summit by 2 if we want to get back down before dark. Here, I'll help out by carrying some of your burden.
Number 63.
I love to grill thick steaks in the summer. My wife boasts that all the neighbors flock to our backyard when they see the first puffs of smoke in the evening.
I also enjoy eating outside, but I only use crisp, fresh vegetables cultivated in my own garden. I've got an abundant variety. It's fun to create novel dishes.
We have a small garden, but we mainly raise corn and salad vegetables.
Number 64.
Did you hear the news? Clarence was promoted to an executive position. He got a raise, a bonus, and the use of a company vehicle.
That's wonderful, Kathy. He certainly deserved it. What will you do with the extra money? Take a vacation?
No, we're going to invest it in a house. The baby is due in June, and we'll need a more spacious place to live with 3 people in the family. Unit 17.
Number 65.
You are aware that your new position entails delegating responsibilities to the employees in your section, right?
Yes, sir. It's just hard for me to give orders to people whom I consider my equals. It feels strange.
You'll get accustomed to that quickly, I think. After all, they trust and respect you, which is why you were chosen from among them for this job.
Number 66.
I like the way this guy beat his last opponent. First, he started his attack with a barrage of slaps to the face.
He was really on the offensive. Then when they came close and started grappling, he swiftly twisted the other man down.
It was a commanding performance. I'm sure he'll win this bout as well.
Number 67.
Have you heard the latest forecast? Tom and I are planning a Memorial Day camping trip, but only if weather permits.
I wouldn't count on going. The 6 p.m. bulletin said the chances of precipitation tomorrow are 100%.
What a shame. Well, there's always next weekend. And there are some household chores I need to do. The kids will be disappointed, though.
Number 68.
I'm going to take out a new policy on my residents, one that covers theft as well as fire and natural disasters.
If it's protection you're looking for, you'd be better off with the security system. It will be cheaper in the long run and a better deterrent to robbers as well.
I don't mind paying the premiums. I'll have more peace of mind knowing that I can replace my possessions regardless of how they are lost.
Unit 18.
Number 69.
Wake up, Carl. Did you hear that? The front door was rattling.
Norma, you're dreaming again. Everything is locked up tight. Does that ease your mind?
I swear I hear movement. Someone's sneaking around down there. Please go and check.
Number 70.
My husband and I just purchased a house on a 3-acre lot in the suburbs. We finalized the details of the mortgage today.
But you told me you wanted to live in the countryside and keep livestock. You said roaming around on horseback was your favorite way to spend a day.
It turns out that was only me. Tony wanted to stay in the city, so we compromised on this as a happy medium for both of us.
Number 71.
Iris, I heard what an excellent job you did presenting your proposal at the meeting. Mr. Adams said everyone was impressed, including the prospective client.
Thanks for the compliment, but I still don't know if we got the contract or not.
He said they signed as soon as you left the room. Congratulations on a job well done.
Number 72.
Can you pick out the one who snatched your bag? If you think he's there, call out the number he's holding under his chin.
They all look so much alike. I know he had a receding hairline. It's number 3. He's the culprit.
Are you absolutely positive, Ms. Jacobs? We've got to make sure that we prosecute the right man.
Unit 19.
Number 73.
After the ceremony at the church, what will the reception be like?
We've hired a fancy caterer, and there'll be a big feast. And live music for dancing, of course.
It sounds absolutely marvelous.
Number 74.
First, staple the papers together, then fold them in half, and insert them into the envelope like so.
Do I put the stamp on after that?
No. Next, peel off the strip covering the adhesive and seal the flap. We'll put the stamps on after all 1,000 envelopes are addressed to the recipients.
Number 75.
Can you believe how much it costs to fill your tank at the pump nowadays? It's ridiculous.
I think it's a good thing. Maybe now people will drive less, reducing both traffic congestion and air pollution.
Don't be naive. Ordinary motorists don't have that choice. They rely on their vehicles, and this is hitting them hard.
Number 76.
This is the 4th consecutive month that Joe has gotten an award for outstanding salesmanship. I wonder what his secret is.
Well, he's a very charming and articulate person. Customers feel that they can trust him, that they're not getting tricked into making a purchase.
Maybe I'll try to imitate his style. I'm having trouble just meeting my quotas each month. Unit 20.
Number 77.
Did you catch the coverage of the hijacking last night? It dragged on for more than 12 hours, finally culminating with the capture of the suspect at dawn.
I tuned in for a while, but there wasn't much to see. Most of it just showed the plane sitting there on the runway.
It may not have been very dramatic for the viewers, but I'm sure it was quite an ordeal for the people involved.
Number 78.
I'm afraid that we can't exchange any merchandise or offer you a refund unless you can show us the receipt, ma'am.
But I didn't wear this dress even one time, and the price tag is still attached to the sleeve. Isn't that enough?
It's store policy, ma'am, and I'm just a clerk. I don't have the authority to make an exception for just one customer.
Number 79.
This is one of the latest innovations in home appliances. After the spin cycle, a drying function switches on. It's actually 2 machines in one.
I always hang my clothes out to dry. I'd rather look at some ordinary models.
This one even features a special mode that will automatically tumble your garments every 5 minutes if you forget to remove them right away, so they won't come out wrinkled.
Number 80.
There's one drawback to working at a donut shop. The numbers on my scale are slowly creeping up, and clothing that was previously too big now fits just fine.
The same thing happened to me when I worked flipping burgers at a fast food franchise. I couldn't resist the temptation of all that free food.
I've just started working out at a club. It's either that or buy myself a new wardrobe. Unit 21.
Number 81.
Look at that pathetic little puppy shivering in this cold rain. The poor creature must be a stray.
I don't think so, Doreen. See, he's got tags on his collar. He's probably just lost.
Well, he looks miserable. Let's pick him up. There must be a name on one of the tags or a number that we can call.
Number 82.
Do you think the fact that internet news is so easily available will harm the newspaper industry?
Look at the statistics. Circulation of newspapers has not declined at all. By the same token, magazines and books are still widely read.
I guess it's like the advent of TV. Contrary to initial predictions, radio is still popular. The internet offers another option for access to information.
Number 83.
Alice, when is the plumber going to get here to fix the leaky faucet? That constant dripping is very irritating.
Try to ignore it, Norm. It's just a little trickle. I'm sure he'll be here soon.
But he's already 3 hours late. This is aggravating. Where's my toolbox? I'm going to try to do it myself.
Number 84.
I know you enjoy traveling in comfort and luxurious accommodations on business trips, Adam, but I have to remind you once again that we can't afford such things anymore.
Does this mean I'm not going to be reimbursed for these travel expenses?
Not this time. I know that you were aware of our new policy before you left last week. Unit 22.
Number 85.
I'm tired. My eyes sting from staring at the screen. I think I'll go out and stretch my legs a bit. Do you want to join me?
That would be nice, but I can't. The deadline for this project is 6 o'clock, and I've got to be done by then.
Sounds tough. Do you want me to bring you back anything, like a soda or a sandwich?
Number 86.
What was that crash I just heard? Are you okay, Sharon?
I stumbled on the porch steps, Dean. None of the bottles in the bags seemed to be broken, but I scraped my elbow and tore my skirt.
I'll take care of the groceries. Go inside and tend to that cut. You don't want it to get infected.
Number 87.
My husband is going to be hospitalized next week to have an operation. The doctor detected a problem with the way his heart's been beating.
I knew he would be absent from work, but I didn't know why. Is it anything serious?
Thankfully, no. It's a very minor procedure. They'll use a laser, and he'll only need 3 stitches. They say he should make a complete recovery.
Number 88.
Mount Cypress is about to erupt. Everyone living within a 20-mile radius has been ordered to evacuate to emergency shelters.
That means us. That also explains those tremors we've been feeling lately. They must be related to the impending explosion.
We'd better get moving. I hate to abandon our home, but we've got no choice. Unit 23.
Number 89.
Did you hear, Gina? The manager suspects that someone has been stealing cash from the petty change box. She wants to find out who.
Really? I can't imagine anyone here doing such a thing. They all seem so honest.
Nevertheless, she says she has evidence, and she's going to conduct a thorough investigation.
Number 90.
I've subscribed to a magazine called Coins Unlimited. It's got lots of information about rare and hard-to-find coins and how to acquire them.
I didn't know you were a coin collector. Do you have a large assortment yet?
It's not me, it's my son. He was fascinated by a book he read about ancient currencies, and he has taken up the hobby. I want to encourage him as best I can.
Number 91.
What happened here? Why is the sink all scratched up like this?
My husband poured some dye down the drain. It left a stain, so I used an abrasive detergent and scrubbed it until it was no longer visible.
This goes beyond regular wear and tear. It needs to be replaced for the next occupant, and I'm afraid I'll have to deduct the cost from your deposit.
Number 92.
How's the job hunting coming along, Carol? Have you found anything promising yet?
It's depressing, Earl. I've scanned the classifieds every morning for 2 weeks now without seeing anything at all suitable.
Don't despair. I'm sure you'll find something that looks good before too much longer.
Unit 24.
Number 93.
I understand most of this. It explains when, where, and why the banquet will be held. But what do these letters RSVP at the bottom mean?
That's an abbreviation derived from French. It means please respond, meaning they want you to affirm that you will be present.
I get it. They want me to affix my signature to this, detach it, and send it back. I'll do it right away.
Number 94.
Gasoline sure is scarce at the moment. I've heard that the government may begin dipping into the country's emergency reserves to ease the strain.
It's not a true shortage, you know. The major oil-producing nations are withholding delivery of millions of barrels to keep costs high.
Well, whatever the reason is, my wallet gets thinner every time I fill my tank. I may even resort to riding my bike to work if things continue on like this.
Number 95.
Will Mr. Zane be reinstated as president of the firm now that he's been acquitted of all the charges?
Probably not. The case generated so much negative publicity, people don't want to have him back.
But he's an innocent man. It's terrible that a man's career can be destroyed just because of the influence of claims made by the mass media.
Number 96.
These allergies are driving me crazy. I can't stop sneezing, and my eyes itch from all this pollen.
Why don't you try this medication, Brian? You can get it at any drugstore. It's very effective and it won't make you drowsy. Here, have one.
Thanks, Kelly. If it works like you say, I'm going to go get a package of them immediately.
Unit 25.
Number 97.
I have an idea for the marketing campaign. Why don't we distribute a catalog with photos and descriptions of all our new products?
That would be prohibitively expensive, I think. It would be a waste of time and materials.
Not if we restrict ourselves to mailing them only to our loyal customers at first.
Number 98.
Wall Street plunged more than 600 points last Friday. It was a devastating drop.
And the following Monday, many Asian markets went down as well. What's the connection?
The American market often offers a preview of coming events. Asian traders were reacting to the bad news.
Number 99.
When are the results of the evaluations going to be released? Everyone is anxious to see them.
You'll be okay, Phil, but some of our colleagues are going to suffer a sudden drastic change in their financial status.
Yes, in theory, basing wage levels on the ratings is a good idea, but this system should have been introduced more gradually.
Number 100.
How's the manuscript progressing, Samuel? Will it be published soon?
Well, it's in the second stage now, and I'm just about at the halfway mark. It's a challenge to create concise, interesting material.
I'm an avid reader, but I never thought about the hard work that goes into writing and editing. I'm looking forward to the finished product. This is the end of Disc 1. Word Power for the TOEIC Test. Published by Goken Company Limited. This recording is copyrighted. Disc 2. This set of 2 compact discs contains 200 practice questions for the listening comprehension section of the TOEIC test. In each practice, you will hear a short conversation between 2 people. In your textbook, you will read a question about each conversation. The question will be followed by 4 answers. Choose the best answer to each question. Unit 26.
Number 101.
You're pretty good at inventing new ad slogans, Kevin. What's your secret?
Whenever I go to social occasions, I get cues from the people around me simply by eavesdropping on their conversations. It's a lot easier than doing library research.
I always end up going through tons of literature on market analysis and consumer demographics. I think I'll try it your way next time.
Number 102.
You have 4 cavities, Mr. Wilson. Do you want me to fill them now, or would you like to come back next week?
Let's get it over with. I don't think I can cope with the whole week of dreading that drill.
Okay. I'll need to inject an oral numbing agent before I begin. Lean back and open wide.
Number 103.
Did Alan tell you what happened at the board meeting? The CEO fired the chairman. She accused him of being unfaithful to the company.
I know. The entire staff knows. It was so abrupt, and many people feel that the CEO's actions were unjustified.
I wonder who the board will select as their new chairperson. This came as a total surprise to us all.
Number 104.
Is there an ATM nearby? I want to withdraw some money. My wallet's empty.
I thought we didn't have anything left in our account. The last statement we received reflected a balance of only 33 cents.
We're allowed a cash advance of up to $500 as long as we make sure to deposit sufficient funds to cover it by the 31st of each month.
Unit 27.
Number 105.
Let's take Brian to the zoo for his birthday. He's never been to one before. He'll have a blast.
Seeing animals confined in cramped spaces, deprived of their freedom, always upsets me. It's unethical. Let's take him to the amusement park instead.
Brian probably wouldn't see it that way, But you're entitled to your opinion. The amusement park it is.
Number 106.
I hate telling you this, Jane, but we're in grave monetary trouble. You'll either need to take a salary cutback, or we'll have to let you go.
Why have I been singled out? Is it because you're not satisfied with my job performance?
It's not just you. I've asked everyone to make the same choice. It's the only alternative to declaring bankruptcy.
Number 107.
I see that you disposed a lot of the junk that was piled up in the small office.
I got tired of the disorder. You had to shove papers aside just to clear an area in which to work.
You've lessened a burden. I know that nobody was particularly anxious to tackle that mess.
Number 108.
I had a blind date last night. My sister set it up. I was apprehensive, but we found we were compatible with one another.
I'm surprised. You're pretty. Don't you have ample opportunity to go on dates without someone else arranging them?
Not really. I just lost my steady boyfriend, and I can't adjust to the singles bar atmosphere. At least I talked to this guy on the phone before meeting him in person. Unit 28.
Number 109.
I'm going to get these silver earrings, a silk scarf, and a bottle of this perfume. I love how things are so cheap in these duty-free shops.
Gina, your supervisor, doesn't have pierced ears. And a scarf in the summer? Why don't you get her something generic, like a box of candy?
I'm keeping these souvenirs for myself to commemorate our trip to Paris. I'd buy some chocolates, but I don't have any more room in my luggage.
Number 110.
What seems to be the problem, Ms. Lamar? The nurse said you've been feeling unusually tired.
That's right, Doctor. It's a real hardship just getting up in the mornings, and I'm plagued by weakness. I even fainted twice yesterday.
You may be suffering from a deficiency of vitamin D in your diet. That can cause the symptoms you're describing. Let's run a series of blood tests.
Number 111.
Ma'am, would it be possible to keep your dog tied with a collar and chain on the 15th of each month, even when he's in your yard?
Why? He's not vicious, he won't bite, and he hates being tied up.
I'm wary of him. Every time I come to inspect your gas meter, he runs over and barks and growls at me. It makes me nervous.
Number 112.
I liked the way the director gave us a sense of the main character's state of mind by using color film to represent happiness and black and white for sadness.
Oh, is that what was going on? I wondered why the movie kept switching back and forth like that.
You mean you were oblivious to the symbolism, Josh? But it was so obvious. I guess you missed all of the more subtle nuances as well. Unit 29.
Number 113.
Why did the Federal Reserve raise interest rates on loans again? That only discourages consumer spending.
It's because the economy is almost too strong. If it gets too big, demand will eventually exceed supply, triggering a downward spiral ending in a recession.
I think they shouldn't intervene by trying to suppress the expansion. They're actually causing instability rather than preventing it.
Number 114.
Here's the insect repellent. Rub it onto all exposed areas of your skin.
I'd rather not. It's sticky, and it'll get all over my food, too. I don't want to ingest those chemicals. There's no telling what they might do.
This is a new kind. The label says it's made of all natural ingredients and that it's even safe to use on babies.
Number 115.
What a lengthy meeting! 30 minutes would have given us adequate time to come to a conclusion.
Well, everyone wanted to state an opinion on the subject. It wouldn't have been fair to exclude anyone from the process just for the sake of time.
I still think we overdid it. I have many other things I've got to do today, and now less time to do them.
Number 116.
Debbie, what's wrong between you and Frank? You two can't seem to cooperate on the simplest of tasks.
He resents me for arguing with him in front of his subordinates. He thinks I undermined his authority.
Well, you need to reconcile your differences. They are disrupting normal office operations.
Unit 30.
Number 117.
Shift into first gear. Now, step down on the accelerator while simultaneously releasing the clutch pedal.
Oops. Sorry. I didn't mean to stall it like that.
You did it too abruptly. This time, lift your left foot more slowly while gently pressing down with your right.
Number 118.
Tina, I heard a rumor that you're being transferred to the New York branch in May. Is it true?
Not exactly. I did request and receive a transfer. I said I wanted to go to LA and my second choice was Seattle, but I'm being sent to Boston instead.
I don't blame you for asking for a new posting. I don't like the hot weather here in Miami.
Number 119.
I'm worried about Tim. He came home yesterday with a bruise under his eye. I think one of the other boys punched him.
He told me that he gets teased sometimes, and you know how timid he is. He's afraid to fight back.
This goes beyond teasing. I think we ought to notify his teachers. They are responsible for his welfare during school hours.
Number 120.
I really envy Mr. Harrison's affluent lifestyle. It must be nice to live in a huge mansion, drive a Mercedes, and wear custom-tailored suits.
Sure, Calvin. It must also be nice to exploit your employees, neglect your family, and treat everyone else as your inferior. What a terrific guy he is.
I have to admit that he's not the nicest person in the world, but I sure wouldn't mind being as rich as he is.
Unit 31.
Number 121.
It's hard to miss that new guy in sales. He's very outspoken. And how about his taste in clothing?
It's appalling. Why does he think that plaid slacks look good with an orange shirt and a polka-dotted tie?
It's obvious he craves attention. But when I first met him, I was so stunned by his attire that I forgot to shake hands or even ask him his name.
Number 122.
Did you see that? The driver barely missed that pedestrian as she stepped off of the curb onto the crosswalk.
Yes, I saw it. He's not very skilled. He's going much too fast, too. I wonder why he's in such a hurry.
Let's pull the cord and signal him to let us get off at the next stop. This is making me nervous.
Number 123.
I hesitate to interrupt, Ms. Chen, but this seems urgent.
Oh, you're not intruding, Max. I'm just chatting with an acquaintance on the phone. What is it?
Mark Dubin wants to speak to you immediately. I put him on hold, but he seems quite distressed, even frantic. Shall I put him through to you?
Number 124.
Steve, which candidate are you going to vote for in the upcoming municipal election? O'Hill, Fields, or Dale?
I definitely endorse Dale. All three men seem sincere and trustworthy, but Dale's lived here his whole life. He's the one who really knows what we need.
My thought exactly. I'll most likely end up casting my ballot for him, too. Unit 32.
Number 125.
I think we need to install a new computer network. This one is just too old to be very useful anymore.
But we just updated it 1 year ago at considerable cost to the company. Getting an entirely new one would be an unnecessary expenditure.
I know it will cost a lot, but this one is already obsolete. We can't stay competitive if we don't stay abreast of advancing technology.
Number 126.
What did the client say about the estimate? I hope they gave a favorable response. This department worked hard to come up with a reasonable offer.
Unfortunately, not much. 3 other contractors put in bids as well, and they say they want to consider all 4 very carefully before they decide.
I hope they choose us. That's a $5 million deal.
Number 127.
Lois told me that next week she's embarking on a 4-month journey that will take her completely around the globe. She said she's fulfilling a lifelong dream.
How exciting! She must really enjoy flying, though. That's a lot of plane rides.
She and a group of friends will live aboard a small ship they've chartered. It's going to dock at various ports in countries in both hemispheres.
Number 128.
NASA is going to launch a new spacecraft this Friday. It's going to attempt to land on Mars and then move about taking photos and soil samples for analysis back here on Earth.
I presume they've made improvements in the new craft. The last one crashed on impact.
They're not giving up because everyone wants to know if life ever developed there.
Unit 33.
Number 129.
What a spectacular finish! Riot was 5 lengths off the lead almost the entire time, but he came from behind to win by a mere nose.
All those so-called experts were totally wrong. The favorite, Saturday Shout, didn't even come in third. I should never have trusted them.
Riot's odds were 70-1. I can't wait to see what the payoff on my $10 wager is going to be.
Number 130.
The manufacturer of the Valet has issued a recall for all of this year's models due to a faulty part that may cause the airbag to deploy for no reason.
You drive one of those, don't you?
Yes. I've got to take it to a garage approved by Valet, but they'll do the repair at no charge. And they'll even throw in a free engine check to make up for the inconvenience.
Number 131.
The bald eagle is no longer an endangered species. Its numbers dwindled to almost nothing in the 1970s, but now there are enough breeding pairs to sustain the species.
That's wonderful news. Apart from being a noble bird of prey, it's also this country's national bird.
It would be our national shame if it vanished from the face of the earth, and it's still listed as threatened. Our work is not done yet.
Number 132.
Cheryl, is there a sponge handy? I just spilled ground coffee all over the floor.
No sponge, but there's a cloth on the counter right here. Will that do?
Yes, sometimes I can be so clumsy.
Unit 34.
Number 133.
Oh, that's my cellular phone. I'll need to reply as soon as we disembark from the train.
I didn't hear a thing. How did you know it was yours? And how will you know who to call?
It's on vibration mode, and the memory function displays a record of the 20 most recent activations, along with the number the call originated from.
Number 134.
I always earmark a portion of what I earn each month for doing fun things. I typically end up spending it at movie theaters or nightclubs.
I wish I could indulge in that luxury, but I've got a family of 6 to feed. They come first and foremost. There's usually not much left over.
Don't you and your wife ever go out for dinner or dancing? I'd be happy to babysit for you occasionally if you ever need me to.
Number 135.
Miss Smith, that was a lovely yawn. Would you like us to provide you with a pillow so you can nap more comfortably as we discuss this project?
Please forgive me, Mr. Murphy. I was tossing and turning all last night. I didn't mean to offend you.
Go and splash some cold water on your face. I want you to be alert. This information concerns you as well.
Number 136.
I'm going to be blunt with you, Amy. By moonlighting as a waitress, you fail to abide by the terms of our contract.
But I was only trying to supplement my income so I could afford to buy a car, Mr. Ito. There's nothing in the contract about that.
It clearly stipulates that you may not work anywhere else without written permission from me. We're going to penalize you for this.
Unit 35.
Number 137.
This space is for new documents, this one is for works in progress, and I keep the finished ones here. It's a simple system, really.
I have to commend you, Ned. You're so meticulous about things. My cubicle always looks like it was hit by a tornado, with papers scattered everywhere.
Well, I got tired of sifting through all the useless stuff that had accumulated over the months. I needed some organization.
Number 138.
Have you seen the magnifying glass, Roy? I want to call Janet Tyler, but the print in the directory is too tiny for me to see.
I think it's in the bedroom. I noticed it sitting on top of the bureau, next to your jewelry box.
You were right. Things are much more clear to me now. Let's see. Tyler. Okay, there we are.
Number 139.
That cough sounds really bad. Are you feeling okay?
I've got all the symptoms of the flu. My throat is sore, my muscles ache, and I think I have a fever.
You stay right there in bed. I'll take your temperature and then brew you a cup of hot lemon tea.
Number 140.
Tony, you know we need to get a permit before we can export these vegetables. They have to be quarantined at a special facility before they can be distributed.
Actually, that bunch is slated for domestic sales. Somebody put them in the wrong warehouse by mistake.
That's a relief. It would have been too late otherwise. Have they been transported to the correct location yet? Unit 36.
Number 141.
Did you see Hiro Ishikawa's latest economic forecast on JTV News last night?
Yes, I did. He predicted that this recession will continue for years to come, maybe even into the next decade. That's too pessimistic if you ask me.
Well, he is an expert on the subject. He probably has a sound basis for making that kind of statement.
Number 142.
Have you checked out the buds on the branches? They are ready to burst into bloom.
Yes, a bunch of us are going after work on Friday to see them before the leaves start to come out. Would you like to come?
I'd love to. I've been anticipating this all year long.
Number 143.
Professor Brodall is making me revise my thesis for the 5th time. At this pace, I'll never get my master's degree.
She's notorious for being harsh on graduate students. She thrives on hard work and thinks that's the way everyone else should be.
I know she's an eminent scholar at this institution, but how can I ever live up to her expectations? She's simply too demanding.
Number 144.
This computer comes with a lifetime warranty. You'll be compensated for any expenses you may incur if it ever needs to be repaired, regardless of the cause.
No matter how it's damaged? Guaranteed? Even if someone carelessly drops it, for example?
That's right, ma'am. What's more, we'll replace it free of charge if the problem can't be remedied by our specialists.
Unit 37.
Number 145.
Look, it's pouring rain. The streets are starting to flood. If we try to get to the station in that, we'll get soaked. Let's wait until the storm abates.
Okay. I have an idea. We can go and browse in the adjacent bookstore for a while. The awning will protect us.
Good idea, Wendy. Just let me finish the remainder of my meal first. I've still got a few bites left.
Number 146.
How good are the chances of Craig clinching the Remco deal, Linda? I know Ms. Allen believes it's a given, but I've got my doubts.
Yeah, he's not all that capable, is he? It's a mystery to me why he's in charge. He should be taking a much more aggressive approach.
Perhaps we should ask Ms. Allen to transfer him to a different client before it's too late.
Number 147.
So, you say you want something compact and economical with an automatic transmission, is that correct?
Yes, but I'm flexible about the transmission. Manual would be fine too. It also has to have the capacity to seat 5, and it should have less than 25,000 miles on it.
I'm sure that I can help you. We've got several models that should interest you.
Number 148.
What kinds of things do you have for sale on your website?
We have genuine antiques. The majority of them are handcrafted items, such as pottery or wooden furniture. Why do you ask?
Well, a friend of mine just inherited her grandfather's estate, and she'd like to auction some things off. Your site would be just perfect. Unit 38.
Number 149.
I hope we find a way to reduce the turnover rate in the sales division. It's becoming quite an issue.
I agree. We're spending so much money on training that it's cutting into our profits. There's got to be a solution.
Maybe we could offer the salespeople a higher commission as an incentive to remain on the payroll.
Number 150.
Shin, your students' scores on the TOEIC are regularly higher than those of their counterparts in other classes. What's your secret?
I try to gauge what each class needs, and I don't pretend to be perfect. I simply present the knowledge I possess without putting on a show.
Could I observe one of your classes? I could see firsthand how you interact with your students and follow your example with my own lectures.
Number 151.
I like this pair. The style is just right. I would prefer the blue ones. The color matches my outfit, but they don't fit. They're slightly snug.
Don't worry about that. They will expand to the shape of your feet. Besides, they're only a half size smaller than the ones you have on now.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll take the blue ones. Do you accept personal checks?
Number 152.
I'd like to send this parcel to Italy using your overnight service. How much will the charge be?
That depends on how much it weighs. You'll also need to fill out one of these customs forms describing what it contains.
Thank you. Oh, do you have a pen I could borrow?
Unit 39.
Number 153.
Paying retail prices for all our office supplies is quite expensive. How about getting some of this stuff directly from wholesalers?
That's a good idea, but only for non-perishable goods, and we'd need to create more storage space.
Right. We don't want to be tripping over stacks of boxes and throwing cartons of rotten cream into the garbage.
Number 154.
I read in the paper that this year, the federal budget is going to be more than $300 billion in surplus.
Great. Now maybe we can finally get some long-awaited tax cuts.
That's not what they'll use it for. Education and defense will both receive a boost, but most of it will go toward paying down the debt.
Number 155.
Mark, what does combustible mean? I thought it meant burnable, but Dan told me it means inflammable. Doesn't that mean fire resistant?
Actually, no, Mika. Flammable and inflammable are synonyms, not opposites.
I'm never going to get this language down straight. It's driving me crazy.
Number 156.
Are we allowed to bring our spouses to the annual picnic? If so, Fred will ask for the 16th off. He wants to meet my colleagues.
Didn't you see the memorandum? There's an emergency meeting on the 15th, so the picnic has been postponed until 2 weeks later.
Oh no! Fred's leaving on a 4-day trip on the 29th. It can't be delayed. He won't be able to come. Unit 40.
Number 157.
The paper says that the government just enacted new legislation banning smoking in all federal buildings.
Good. It bothers me when I have to inhale secondhand smoke drifting over from people smoking in public places.
But is it constitutional? It seems to violate the right of freedom of choice for smokers.
Number 158.
This says that the convention will be held at the Trevor Auditorium. I thought the committee had designated Stafford Hall as the venue.
Well, preliminary surveys show that more than 2,300 people plan to attend. Stafford seats a maximum of 2,000, so it would have been full to overflowing.
I heard the audience would be much larger this year. It must be because Karen Wyman is the keynote speaker.
Number 159.
Any word yet on the status of the merger, Beth? We're awaiting news on the outcome of the negotiations.
It's a sure thing, Roger. The lawyers representing both sides are finalizing the details even as we speak.
Wonderful. Things have been very tense around here with the future of the firm so uncertain. Now we can use our energy for work rather than for worrying.
Number 160.
Vicki, I'm in a bit of a bind. Matt just quit, and now I have nobody to work the graveyard shift. Would you consider doing it temporarily?
No way, Don. The one time I tried it, alone in this deserted building at 3 a.m., I felt very fearful. My hands were trembling so badly I couldn't even type.
I understand. Nobody else wants to either. I may end up doing it myself.
Unit 41.
Number 161.
Steve, would you please do an inventory check? We're about to print up a new batch of brochures, and I want to make sure we have enough ink and paper.
Sure, Ms. Johnson, but I'm pretty busy with a couple of other projects right now. Can it wait until later?
I suppose so, but any stock we need will have to be ordered by 5 p.m., so please have it done by then.
Number 162.
This humid weather is wrecking my appetite. Just the smell of food is enough to make me nauseous.
I can sympathize. It's having the same effect on me.
It is making me very thirsty, however. I'm sweating so much that I need to gulp down countless glasses of water every single day.
Number 163.
Are the assembly workers threatening a walkout again?
Yes, they are. Negotiations with the union have broken down. They want more job security, but management is stubbornly insisting that nothing needs to be changed.
I think management had better accede to their demands this time. This constant turmoil is affecting everyone here at the plant.
Number 164.
We've decided to buy a home in the country. We're both sick of the hustle and bustle of city life.
But that will mean a very long and arduous commute. You'll be on the road for hours every day.
I don't care. I've had it with our tiny little condominium and fighting crowds every time we try to go anywhere.
Unit 42.
Number 165.
Look at this. It's a portable music player that can both download and play back songs from internet sources.
And it's wireless as well. What a neat little gadget. I bet these are selling well.
I just caught a glimpse of the price tag. This store won't have to restock these anytime soon.
Number 166.
I know this may be a trivial point, Denny, but tomatoes are not vegetables. They're technically fruit.
What a weird thing to say. Tomatoes are vegetables. What gave you the notion they're not?
Get out the encyclopedia and look it up if you're that dubious. That will prove my contention.
Number 167.
I'm finally eligible for a spouse visa. Now I can accompany Jane when she returns to the U.S.
Did you have to deal with a lot of bureaucratic red tape to obtain it?
Yes, I had to show them our marriage certificate, 2 forms of identification, and then wait for 3 months to get the immigration permit.
Number 168.
Kristen, I want you to treat the man at table 12 especially well tonight.
Why, Mr. Cole? He's been acting rude and obnoxious ever since he came in and sat down.
But he's one of the most renowned restaurant critics in the city. Don't you recognize him?
Unit 43.
Number 169.
Would you please place your carry-on baggage on the conveyor belt, ma'am? It needs to pass through this X-ray unit.
There are rolls of sensitive film inside. Should I remove them first?
The film will be fine. We also have to ensure that the bag will fit inside the overhead compartment.
Number 170.
Harold, I'm starving. When are you going to lay the steaks on the grill?
I already did, but they're only partially cooked. While I tend to them, why don't you toss the salad and slice that loaf of bread over there?
I feel like I could eat one raw. I'm glad you bought ample portions. My stomach is grumbling.
Number 171.
When we taught Rover to fetch, I had no idea he'd be so keen on it. He will chase and retrieve a ball no matter how many times I throw it.
He sure is cute, though. And he's getting vigorous exercise, which must be very good for his health.
I suppose, but he is a little obsessed. He'll wag his tail and beg me to play until I'm weary, he's exhausted, and the ball is ripped to pieces.
Number 172.
Ms. Kendall, there's a discrepancy in the paperwork for the Robbins account. They ordered 2 software packages, but apparently the bill is for 8.
So they received an invoice for quadruple the amount that they actually owe? Mr. Robbins is going to be very angry.
Luckily, we haven't mailed it out yet. I'll make sure the problem is taken care of right away.
Unit 44.
Number 173.
Carol, would you step into my office? I don't want to alarm you, but, well, I'm reluctant to say this, but you need to be informed.
I'm alarmed already, Evan. It sounds serious. What is it?
This is confidential, so don't repeat it, okay? The board has decided to reduce the workforce, and your division is first in line. I'm sorry.
Number 174.
What a gorgeous day. It's been so cloudy and gloomy lately, it cheers me up just to look outside and see the bright sunshine.
And there's a brisk autumn breeze blowing. It's too bad we're doomed to enjoy only what we can get through an open window.
I've got a better idea. Let's knock off early and feel that breeze for real. This may be the last nice day we get for a long time.
Number 175.
This financial report shows that our first quarter net income soared by 71% to more than $3.3 million.
If those calculations are correct, it means we've surpassed everyone's wildest expectations. It's a company record.
The booming economy caused a surge in consumer spending, and we were in the right place at the right time.
Number 176.
I want to rent an apartment my freshman year, but I don't have many belongings. I don't even have kitchen utensils. What should I do?
Well, just by coincidence, my brother is about to go abroad for a year, and he wants to lease his place fully furnished.
That is just perfect. Could you give me his telephone number? Unit 45.
Number 177.
Gordon, why is your hand bleeding? What happened to you?
It was a silly mistake. I was putting a file back in the cabinet, and I slammed the drawer on my thumb. I'll be fine.
You should at least wrap it in something. There are some bandages in the first aid kit in the closet.
Number 178.
Did you use any visual aids in your presentation this morning?
Yes, I did. I brought a small-scale model of the exterior of the building, along with the corresponding blueprints. They seem satisfied with our plans.
Good. The next step is finding a subcontractor that can start the actual construction.
Number 179.
Look, Nan, there's an article in this month's newsletter advocating abolishing the dress code.
I saw it, Adam. I bet Cindy wrote it. She's always rebelling against rules she sees as unfair.
Well, the article calls management oppressive dictators, and it's signed anonymous. But I asked her, and she admitted that she was the one responsible.
Number 180.
How much longer will it be until the renovations are finished? I'm tired of breathing in plaster dust all day here at work.
They said they'd be finished by Friday, but I doubt it. I've been monitoring their progress, and they're not even halfway done.
This is the result of focusing solely on expenses. Management has sacrificed quality for the sake of saving a few dollars.
Unit 46.
Number 181.
I'll try to arrange this itinerary with tomorrow at 9 as your departure time, but it may be impossible. Every flight to Chicago is booked solid. You could only get a seat if there was a last-minute cancellation.
But I'm desperate. I've got to be there tomorrow. Isn't there anything you can do?
My advice would be to try to fly standby. That's really your only other option at this point.
Number 182.
Did you hear? Deanna got caught with concealed notes during the math exam.
Frankly, I'm not surprised. She was flunking that course because she never bothered to study.
She may even be expelled. What a stupid thing of her to do.
Number 183.
This is your fourth violation, ma'am. If you get one more ticket, your license will be suspended, and you'll lose your driving privileges. Why won't you obey the speed limit?
I apologize, officer. I just wasn't paying attention. I promise to be more careful in the future.
Please do. Here is the ticket. You can pay the fine by mail.
Number 184.
The telecommunications industry has been growing by leaps and bounds. We need to find a way to beat the competition.
Instead of treating other firms as enemies, we should try to see them as potential allies that can help us create even better products.
That's one way of looking at it, Ray. Joint ventures generally benefit everyone, not only the companies involved, but consumers as well. Unit 47.
Number 185.
Those huge clouds in the distance look ominous. Do you think a storm is imminent?
I think so. I can see lightning and hear the rumble of thunder.
It'll be good for the crops. We've had scant moisture this summer.
Number 186.
Last night I picked up a passenger who directed me to a location that was 20 miles away. When we arrived, he claimed he couldn't afford to pay the fare.
That's happened to me numerous times, usually with intoxicated people. They'll search in their purses or wallets and then inform me they don't have enough money.
I'll start making sure people have sufficient funds before I let them climb in.
Number 187.
Which sort of wine should we get? Red or white? I'm inclined to get red. That will be appropriate with this dish.
Jeff, this is a pricey place. With wine, the bill will reach an outrageous amount.
Wine is an important component of a good meal. It only heightens one's enjoyment of the food.
Number 188.
I find the defendant guilty. However, since he is a juvenile, I will sentence him to 1 year of probation instead of a jail term.
We appreciate your leniency, Judge Thomas.
Remember that he must comply with all the conditions of the sentence, or he'll be back here again, and I won't feel lenient then, I assure you.
Unit 48.
Number 189.
We're never going to solve this labor dispute without bringing in an outside mediator. People are too emotionally involved to discuss this rationally.
You're right. We need an impartial third party to help out. Maybe they can get some insight into what's really going on here.
And we need a resolution soon. I know that for many people, this tension is almost too much to endure.
Number 190.
Would these flowers look better on the dining room table or here in the hallway?
It doesn't matter. Either place is fine. Aren't you ready yet? The guests will begin arriving in about 10 minutes.
All I have to do is apply my makeup. While I do that, why don't you check on the roast and take the wine out of the fridge?
Number 191.
This message here is illegible, Sasha. It's nothing but a scroll. What does it say?
Sorry, Mr. Gonzalez. I was rushed when the call came in, so I just scribbled it down. Let me see. Wow, I don't have a clue.
You've got to make a conscious effort not to write so sloppily. Writing clearly is a basic skill, and it's necessary for your job.
Number 192.
What are those barriers up ahead? It looks like we are going to have to take an alternate route.
A road crew is paving the rough surface on that part of the freeway. They're diverting traffic to a parallel street.
What a nuisance. We're late already, and this is going to slow us down even more. Unit 49.
Number 193.
I've decided to adopt a flex time system here. It will enable people to tailor their schedules to fit their individual needs.
Be sure to clarify what the boundaries are. You don't want things to deteriorate into chaos.
That's precisely why I want to talk to you. Do you have any suggestions that might help the transition go more smoothly?
Number 194.
Guess what? Jeremy took his first steps this morning. I've got his very first pair of shoes here in this box.
You're kidding, Kathy. It seems just like yesterday you were proudly announcing that he had learned to crawl.
He's growing fast. You're right about the crawling phase. He passed through that very quickly indeed.
Number 195.
What a racket they're making next door. I can't get to sleep with all that loud music and yelling.
Me neither, and it's almost 2 a.m. Should we go and complain to the landlord?
No, it's too late at night, and besides, they're not usually like this. Let's go and knock on the door and ask them to keep it down.
Number 196.
The business that Sven started less than 1 year ago is already a thriving enterprise.
Isn't that amazing? He took a huge risk investing everything he had like that. I was sure he would fail.
He must have brilliant business instincts. I guess he's a born entrepreneur.
Unit 50.
Number 197.
We should serve triangular pieces. That will contrast very nicely with the circular plates. The pink and white horizontal layers will be very pretty.
For heaven's sake, Diane, who cares? Rectangular, diagonal, round, horizontal, vertical. It's not art, it's just food.
I'm trying to create a festive mood here, Larry, so humor me and cut it like I want you to, okay?
Number 198.
That truck just splattered mud all over the car. My visibility has been reduced to almost zero.
Try using the windshield wipers. That should help.
There's no fluid left. This is just spreading it around even more. I'd better pull over.
Number 199.
This is the third time this week you've been late, Edgar. What's your excuse this time?
I'm sorry, Miss Matthews. I misplaced my car keys, and it took me forever to find them. It won't happen again.
You need to be more punctual. We can't tolerate this kind of behavior. I need to rely on you to be here to do your work.
Number 200.
Guess what, Thomas? The TOEIC scores were just released and I achieved my goal. I'm ecstatic.
That's incredible, Keiko. Congratulations. I'm curious, how did you manage to attain such a high score so quickly?
Once I realized that a good command of English could enrich my life in many ways, I got much more enthusiastic about studying it. It's now easy and fun for me to learn. This is the end of word power for the TOEIC test.